Yo, what's up everybody, it's me, Weep here, back with another part 3, for What If Tanjiro Learns Snow Breathing. If you guys have not already, please make sure to go and hit the like button on the video, comment down below what you think of the video after you're done watching it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me, as well as other anime content. Hit the notification bell if you want to know whenever I post a video, because YouTube doesn't always give out noties. And if you haven't already watched the previous two parts, make sure to go up here in the top right hand corner to go and catch up, and then watch this one. Anyway, let's just get into this part for What If Tanjiro Learned Snow Breathing. Tanjiro would set out as his crow would have told him about his first ever mission as a demon slayer. As he heads out towards the village where he'd been sent, where apparently there were some girls being kidnapped and mysteriously disappearing at night, likely the cause of a demon, Tanjiro would eventually run into Kazumi, or as he introduced himself, his name is Kazumi. As Tanjiro hears himself say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you," we would see Kazumi as he sighs, saying, "It's fine," with him having a depressed tone in his voice. Tanjiro would ask what's wrong before Kazumi would then tell Tanjiro everything about what happened with his girlfriend and how she had been taken, and it was all his fault. Tanjiro would ask where the last place he had seen her was, as he would then be pulled over there by Kazumi, as Tanjiro would use his incredible sense of smell to try and find and maybe find the source of where this woman could be. As Tanjiro sniffs around, he would catch a scent of something, as he thinks that's a demon and he can smell traces of blood. This would be pretty close by to where Kazumi had said that she had gone missing after he had left her, or where he thinks she would be. And so Tanjiro would not catch the scent as he then hops onto a roof and starts running across buildings, saying that someone's getting attacked right now. Across town, we hear a girl screaming as we then zoom in, seeing her being attacked by a demon, as pale white hands would wrap around her face and body and begin to pull her under the ground into some sort of dark portal into almost a different dimension. Kazumi would be running behind on the street following Tanjiro, as Tanjiro would hop down to the street below and near the house where she had just been taken. Smelling where she was now with the scent being fresh, it was much easier for Tanjiro to pinpoint exactly where the demon would be. Tanjiro put down the wooden box that Urokodachi had given to him to hold his sister Nezuko. As Tanjiro would unsheath his katana, he would then stab it into the ground, where the scent was strongest. As he does so, suddenly a burst of shadow would come ripping up from the ground, almost like a geyser of darkness, and just as Tanjiro sees it, he would grab it as quick as he can, the green cloth of the kimono of the girl. As Tanjiro would jump out of the way, he would have the girl in his arms as he has successfully taken her back from the demon. She's unconscious, but she doesn't look harmed. As Tanjiro looks to the ground, he would then see a black arm with long nails and pale skin sticking its hand out of the dark shadow, with a piece of the ripped kimono in its hand, clutching it. As the demon pulled itself out of the pool of darkness, it would have long, purplish black hair. As its eyes would meet Tanjiro, Tanjiro would suddenly remember when Urokodachi had told him about the blood demon arts, a special spell that the demons could use. Suddenly the demon would begin to make loud screeching sounds, gritting its teeth back and forth in rage, as Tanjiro would watch it submerge itself back underneath. Tanjiro would hand the girl over to Mr. Kazumi, asking him to hold on to her. As long as they're both in his range of attack, he can protect them. Tanjiro would then pick up his box he'd put down that has Nezuko in it and put it back on his back, so as to not let her be in danger either. As Tanjiro awaits the arrival of the demon to come back and attack, he would think about the methods that it might do so. The floor, the wall, maybe even midair. The only things for certain is that it can't erase its scent even when it's submerged. Tanjiro would realize this as he used his scent to smell and would suddenly feel the bloodlust beginning to arrive. It's here, he would think. Suddenly the dark portal would arrive, turned behind him, as Tanjiro lunges forward, completely prepared to use one of his water-breathing style attacks. However, as he realizes what's going on, Tanjiro would see that as three shadows appear, Tanjiro would realize that three demons popped out from the hole, as Tanjiro would jump back, using the ground to push himself away, as all three had lunged at him. As Tanjiro's in the air, he would combine two of his breathing style techniques, using 8th form of water breathing, waterfall basin, combined with form 1 of snow breathing, avalanche. As the two attacks he would use simultaneously, the waterfall basin attack would begin to freeze from the avalanche mixing into it, As the two breathing styles merged, all three demons would suddenly be submerged in ice, as the two can't move, with the waterfall basin having been completely frozen by the avalanche. Tanjiro would gasp for air, as this is the first time he's ever truly tried mixing snow breathing and water breathing at the same time, and it consumes a lot of stamina and energy. Tanjiro would tell himself to calm down as he tries to regain his breathing and composure. Suddenly, Tanjiro would be shocked as he sees that he'd missed their vital points. Damn it! Just like in the original version, Tanjiro would have made the mistake of switching between versions mid-attack, which is what caused Tanjiro to miss their vital points and have a shallow attack. However, this time the three are a bit more frozen since the snow breathing plus the water breathing together has a bit of a side effect on them. The three demons' arms would go flying, and this would be the point where we see Tanjiro thinking that he had always heard that the rule was that demons never banded together, that they preferred to hunt on their own. But they have the same scent, Tanjiro would be thinking, which means that this is one demon that has split itself into 3 parts. I'm going to protect these two, he'd be thinking, as he looks back towards Kazumi and the lady who's in his arms, while slashing those 3 demons to bits. Suddenly, that red scent of a trail that Tanjiro feels whenever he sniffs this demon's scent begins to move again, as Tanjiro realizes where it's going. It's going to attack Kazumi and the girl. Tanjiro would lunge as he prepares his attack. Snow-breathing style. Number 2. Blizzard. As Tanjiro would lunge his attack, his body would increase in speed almost like a flash of white, as his dark icy blade would begin to cut into the demon over and over again, slashing faster and faster as Tanjiro moves around it, cutting like a cold, freezing wind. The demon would say, "You bastard!" as it tries slashing at Tanjiro with its claws before one of its fingers is cut off by Tanjiro's blade. The demon submerged itself back into a pool of shadows, moving back and getting out of the range of Tanjiro's attack. I can't go that far, Tanjiro would be thinking as he looks back towards Kazumi and the woman. I can't protect these two and strike my full swings. I have to stay in close range so that they don't get attacked while I'm not noticing. The demon in front of him begins screaming about how that girl's going to go stale if he keeps him waiting any longer, as he begins scratching himself in a madness. Tanjiro would be a bit confused at first, and Kazumi would just be scared, as he watches this demon beginning to go crazy. Behind Tanjiro, suddenly a second demon would pop up underneath from the shadows as it tells its other self to calm down, and that there are going to be nights like this. Just return Satoko to me, Kazumi would say in desperation, as the demons would be confused, the one behind them asking Satoko, as he would pull his cloak to the right, asking if her hairpin was among any of these collectibles, because if it was, then she had already been consumed by them. We see a flashback of Kazumi walking through the street, holding her hand, and the moment he let go and closes his eyes to smile, and he opens them again, she was gone. Tanjiro's veins begin to spike up as he feels adrenaline rushing through him. This is rage. Suddenly, one of the demons would pop up behind Tanjiro as he turns around, slashing its arm off. But he got way too close to the wall, as suddenly a second demon would lunge out of the wall towards Tanjiro. Tanjiro would kick off the demon's back as he does a spin in the air, landing back onto the ground, before getting more attacks from the ground popping up from all 3 sides around him. Tanjiro could handle the 2 in front, but the one behind him was about to pierce Tanjiro's eye with his nail, as suddenly a leg would shoot out from the box behind on Tanjiro and kick the demon's head, breaking its neck and spinning it all the way around itself. What's the meaning of this? The demon be thinking, as he sees that a demon is accompanying a swordsman? I don't get it at all. After the demon sank back into the pool, Nezuko would turn towards Kazumi and the girl. She would walk forward and gently place her hand on their cheek, remembering and seeing 2 images of her siblings. This would be when Tanjiro remembered that Sakonji had told him about him having used hypnotic suggestion on Nezuko, telling her that all humans are her family, and to protect them. And while the demons, on the other hand, are all enemies, and never to forgive the demons for what they've done to humans. As the 2 demons would pop up on the other side by the road, Nezuko would lunge towards them as she runs and jumps up into the air, ready to hit them with an axe blade kick. The demon would then quickly lunge underground, escaping the blow, as Nezuko's kick would shatter the ground beneath her foot. She looks forward, about to chase the other demon, when Tanjiro would tell her to come back, as she would turn around and begin running back towards Tanjiro. When suddenly the demon would try and pop up, but Nezuko would easily jump over it and land back on the ground. This would be one way of Tanjiro reminding himself almost that Nezuko is a demon now, and she can protect herself, so she's not really as weak as he imagines her in his mind. Tanjiro would harden his resolve as he tells Nezuko, asking her if she can protect those 2, as he gestures towards Kazumi and the girl, while he goes underneath. She would look back in Tanjiro's eyes as Tanjiro would ask, "Can you do that for me, Nezuko?" Nezuko would nod, gesturing to Tanjiro that he can go, as Tanjiro would then step into the black pool and begin to submerge into underneath the ground. We see from Tanjiro's perspective as we sink down lower and lower into a bog. This is a swamp, Tanjiro be thinking. As he looks down, keeping his eyes open underneath this dark water, he would see that deep under. He would see all these clothes and belongings. Are these from the people they kidnapped? This is horrible. How many innocent people have they? It's unforgivable. Getting hard to breathe, brat, one of the demons would say. Inside the swamp with the darkness coiling around you must be making you feel quite heavy right now. The two demons would begin to chirp as their teeth begin to make loud, high-pitched sounds as they begin to grind them back and forth, beginning to swim in the water towards Tanjiro. Just how weak do you think I am, Tanjiro be thinking? You shouldn't underestimate me. The air was thinner on top of Mount Sagiri for my training. Not even to mention the fact that there are some moves that I have that have even higher potential to be more devastating underwater. Here they come, Tanjiro would realize. That's it, he would be realizing, as he smells it. The opening thread. It's time, he'd be thinking. Ice Dragon Whirlpool. Suddenly, as Tanjiro uses the whirlpool of water style and the ice dragon from snow breathing, the two would combine as the dragon would whirl around, spinning to the bottom of the whirlpool as it begins ripping apart the demons with its jaws. As the whirlpool would slash, cutting through the demons, this powerful vortex would kill both of the two demons that were attacking Tanjiro, taking them out. Suddenly, Tanjiro would see something. The piece of cloth that had held the place where the demon had kept all of the hairpins and collectibles that he had taken from all of the girls who had been murdered by him in the village. Suddenly, Tanjiro would realize that he used way too much air when he had done that attack, combining the two. As he feels himself not being able to breathe, he'd swim up towards this dark shadowy pool at the top, the entrance to get back out of the underground and into the real world. Meanwhile, while Tanjiro was underground fighting the other two, Nezuko was actually fighting and even beating the demon above the ground. She's so fast, the demon would be thinking. He must have given her a huge amount of blood. She hasn't mastered any skills or blood demon arts yet, seemingly, and she's already this strong. Nezuko's pure physical strength would already be more than enough to match up against this demon, as she was pretty easily overpowering him, not giving him any time to dive back down into the swamp. But I am getting used to these attacks from her. While she may be powerful, her technique is lacking, he'd be thinking. Now! As he slashes, cutting Nezuko's forehead with his nails, he would then say, "Now I'm going to drill my hand through your face," he would laugh. As he's about to shove his hand and attack Nezuko, suddenly a flash of white and blue would appear, as Tanjiro pushes himself out of the swamp and leaps at a fast speed, slashing the demon's arm and tells him, "Keep your hands off my sister!" Tanjiro would quickly cut off his other arm, cleaving as it falls to the ground. With the demon having been taken out, he realized that his two other cells had been taken out by this guy. As Tanjiro began to ask his questions. "You smell like rotten oil. How many people have you killed?" Tanjiro would ask, seriously. The demon would laugh, beginning to talk about how women after they turn that age begin to go sour, as the demon would say that in fact you should be thankful for us, demon, before his mouth would get cut, his tongue getting slashed off by Tanjiro's katana. The demon would vomit blood as its tongue falls to the ground, with Tanjiro then beginning to ask the next question. "You're going to tell me what you know about Mizun Kyotsuchi, now." As Tanjiro says this name, the demon begins shaking in fear, as a wave of fear would go over the entire demon as he remembers a single image of a man with black hair holding a finger over his mouth, telling him, "Never speak of me to anyone." The demon begins telling Tanjiro, I can't tell you. I can't tell you." Suddenly the man would appear in the demon's mind again as he tells him, "If you tell anyone about me, I'll know right away. I'm always watching you." The demon would shake in fear as he remembers these words. The smell of fear, Tanjiro would be thinking. It's him shaking down to his very bones. Tanjiro would feel disgust and also intimidation. Is Muzan really this powerful? Even with his own life being threatened, that he won't tell me before he dies, Tanjiro would say. The demon would rather kill his own life. As the demon would run forward at a massive speed, its arms regenerating, as it tries to kill Tanjiro with its last words saying, "I can't tell you." Tanjiro would easily move out of the way as he then swipes with his icy katana, cutting off its head and arms, killing it for good. Damn it, I failed to get more information, Tanjiro would be thinking. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fix Nezuko this way, but I'll have to try. Tanjiro would then look over to see his sister leaning against the wall, already fast asleep. Did she pass out so she could begin recovering her wounds? Tanjiro would check, seeing that her wounds had already begun to heal, as Tanjiro would help and move Nezuko back into the box so that when the sun was going to come up, then she wouldn't get killed by it. Tanjiro would then walk over to Mr. Kazumi, who was kneeling on the ground, tears filling his eyes as he's shell-shocked, a hollow look in them. Tanjiro would go on his knee as well as he says, "Mr. Kazumi, are you alright?" Kazumi would look down at the ground as more tears began to flow. I've lost my fiancé. How can I be alright?" he would say as he looks down. Tanjiro would then pause for a second before he would say, "Even though you are going to lose people, no matter how many people you lose, you have to keep going on living." Kazumi would grab Tanjiro's collar as more tears began to flow, asking what a kid like him would know about it. "You could never understand what it's like." Tanjiro would have a gentle smile on his face as he remembers his family, having been murdered, seeing them before his eyes, the hopelessness he felt. Tanjiro would gently grab Kazumi's hand and pull it off of his collar, as Kazumi would be shocked, feeling the calluses, the hard and thickened skin of training. This wasn't the hand of a boy. This was a hand of someone who felt pain. As Tanjiro would tell him that he'll be going on his way now, before he does, he would hand Kazumi something, as he gives him a piece of cloth, saying that hopefully something of Miss Sotoko would be in there. As he would open it, Kazumi would see it, the hairband that she had always worn, as more tears begin to flow. Tanjiro began to walk away as he then says that he's going to be leaving that woman in his care, telling him to make sure that she's alright, as Tanjiro would walk off. "So that's it," Kazumi would be thinking. "You went through the same thing too, didn't you?" He would look up as he sees Tanjiro's silhouette walking off into the sun, as he would then raise his hand telling him to wait, telling Tanjiro that, I'm sorry, that was an awful thing to say." Tanjiro would turn around and smile, telling him that he'll be going now. Alright, Kazumi would say, as Tanjiro leaves the village behind. Suddenly we would see a black crow flying through the air, as its black wings pale against the white of the sky. "It's not just me," Tanjiro would be thinking as he's walking away. "Muzan Kibutsuchi, how many people's lives have you ruined? How many people have you killed? I'll never forgive you as long as I live," Tanjiro would say. The crow would land on Tanjiro's shoulder as he then tells Tanjiro, "Next is Asakusa in Tokyo City. Rumors of a demon lurking there." "Another mission already, huh?" Tanjiro would say as he smiles. "Alright then, let's get going," as we see Tanjiro start his journey to Asakusa. If you guys want to see the next part for what if Tanjiro had snow breathing, make sure to slap that like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, as well as other anime videos from me. Anyhow, with that, I think I'll be seeing all of you guys in the next one. Goodbye.